too much of a coincidence.
I mean, monkeys like bananas, you know? Like,
But like, how often do we see Luffy with a banana?
I'm honestly surprised we don't see him with a banana more often. Like, bananas are good whether or not you're a monkey.
That is true. That is true.
But no, I mean, like, just look at that face. He's so fucking cute.
He's
Little
adorable.
monkey, little straw hat monkey. He's going on the sticker board for sure. I've got to hang that back up yet. I've never finished getting unpacked in this room. Are you not making noise, or is your mic bad? No, you're being a quiet Kevin. Is all you're being.
Being a little quiet kidney.
All right, all right, Patrick. We've been live for about a minute now, so I think it's time we go ahead and we jump in to the 1089 reaction reading discussion, whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards.
I haven't seen any
Welcome.
spoilers, but I think we're going back to Egghead, which it's about gosh darn time.
Yeah. I might have been. People have been posting some, like, I think this is going to happen based on this last chapter, and I've seen a couple of those, so I am not thrilled about it, but that's just the nature of the game that we play. Um, but I don't think it was like actual spoilers, so I think we're good. But yeah, we're gonna read a One Piece chapter. We do this every time there's a new chapter. Tune in here on our YouTubes. We'll read the chapter and review it, and also we'll discuss this later. But we might also be talking about the anime today. So with
Maybe
that, we want
if
to
we have
jump
time.
into 1089.
Let's do it. I'm so excited.
You
Page
decided
one, mother fudgers.
page, page one,
Dude, our Lord and Savior, he's on page one.
hostage situation. All right, reader requests a cow giving Nami a cup of hot milk as she draws sea charts at night by Haruko. Very
Read the
cute.
little papers.
Stars are so pretty tonight, just like you, Nami. Shall we stargaze together? Thanks, saw them already, Nami.
Just savage.
That's cute. Oh, you see Sanji in the window. That's funny. All
Oh
right.
wait, he's in the window?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there he is. Hi Sanji.
Little creep.
No,
All right.
other page one is where our Lord and Savior is.
Buggy. Yo. Okay. Let's just jump
Sla!
into it. Let's just jump into it.
Get the bucket
All right.
hats.
Hold on. I have it
I don't
right
know
here.
where mine is.
Hold on.
I've not located it since last time.
All right. Now I can't hear is the problem. Let's do.
Oh, close enough. Okay. I can't find here. Just I got straw
How
hat.
does this look?
Oh, we look great. Leave the hats on.
We're leaving them on.
Yep. This might be our new
All
get
right.
up.
I don't say that. This doesn't
Nope,
feel
say
very
it.
comfortable.
No, it
All
doesn't.
right.
Commit to the bit.
Windmill Village, East Blue. Really? Garp vanished at Pirate Island? Is that true? Doesn't say he's dead, right? That's the One Piece fandom and all that copium. He's a man of many legends. Don't worry about him. And there's Loop Slap talking to Makino at the tavern, and she's like, "Exactly, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, what's so funny?" And the baby's crying. He's like, "Oh, it's just you. Sorry." You can't help but be worried about Garp, though. Little ones learned to recognize Luffy recently. You love Big Brother Luffy, don't you? That's kind of odd,
Aw.
but alright.
Hey, the
He's like,
Don.
ah, and here's the Don. She's crying. She's like, Garp, Luffy, what do you think you're doing? Hmm? What the? East Blue. Ah, eek, it's an earthquake. South Blue. There's a tsunami on the way. Get to high ground. The
Hmm?
earthquake on this day. West Blue. Yeah. Had no parallel in recorded history. North Blue. It's a big one. It caused destruction on a vast worldwide scale.
What the heck is
Page.
happening?
Grand Line. There's Laboon. There's Iceberg. The epicenter is impossible to pinpoint, making it a most anomalous seismic event. And there's Hina. Perhaps it was unrelated. There's Wano. What's going on, man? But the quake happened. Climb the hill now.
Well, that
Just
was
six
impel
days after the
down.
vanishing. I guess it is. They're saying climb the hill now. Just 6 days after the vanishing of the kingdom of Lelucia. That looks. I don't know why they have weird hair. Those might be celestial dragons, said Mary Joan.
Looks like it.
But now we see Emu, and they're just standing there while someone's talking. Here are the remains of Lelucia Kingdom. There's no trace of the land anymore, just an enormous hole in the sea that waterfalls are pouring into. Any further approach is impossible. There is no sign of the hole filling up. The earthquake caused the worldwide sea level to rise by about 1 meter. And we just see a huge gaping hole, wink, where Lucia used to be.
So
Um,
that's Ennie's lobby adjacent, right? Like,
oh,
no
yeah.
longer is that just a coincidence.
No, no way it's a coincidence. Um, yeah, so we're just gonna turn the page. Oh, Kamabaka Kingdom. It triggered the loss of several beaches. What in the world is going on here? Beach has never been flooded by like this before. This tide will ebb eventually, right? Around the world. I was supposed to run on that beach,
Hmm.
as well as several islands. The flooding's so bad, we have nowhere to live. A shark swam right into my house. We have reports of flooding coming in from all over the world. It's not supposed to be high tide yet. Hey, maybe today's catch will be huge. Don't you dare sail out in this. We're back at Windmill Village, and there's Whoop Slap.
Whoops, that.
And now we're cutting back to Egghead.
Oh shit! I knew
Meanwhile,
the government was on its way, but that is a fleet of government ships.
oh yeah. Meanwhile, on future island Egghead in the New World, water levels are rising around the world? That's right. What could it mean? Naval summits brought a nation-sized fleet that far outclassed even a buster call. The island was
Ooh.
completely surrounded. And we got a weird giraffe thing taking a chomp out of a ship uh, by a group of 100 ships, including 20 massive battleships. The Mecha's attacking. Their crews total 30,000 sailors. They shoot. It's a beam shot through that giraffe.
That's got to
Wasn't
be
expecting that.
Kizaru.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh,
Hey,
and
I
here
told
we
you
are.
not to attack the sea beast weapons, but it attacked us first. Leading this unprecedented military force was a group of 9 vice admirals. And
Ooh.
I'm trying to see if I recognize any. I do not. The
I
lady.
see. I recognize what one of them.
Yeah,
I don't know his name though. I just know I've seen him.
I know. We've seen the lady with the spiky collar before. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Anyway, and
Anyway, and Admiral Kizar. Well, you're putting us in a rather sticky situation here, Sentimaru. Could you just surrender and come back over here? The next time you try that, old man, we're attacking. Ooh, how scary. Punk developed the Pacifistas lasers after studying your powers. Wow, cool. And you get a little cut back to young Sentimaru and wow, blanking on his name.
Kizaru.
Vega and Vegapunk. I was going for Vegapunk, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I was
Where's
like
Kizaru?
the guy who we're talking about.
I didn't even see Kizaru. Of course, it makes sense. He's there. He's doing his thing. But anyway, never thought you'd come to eliminate him one day. And then Kizuru's like, studying the Void Century is a crime. Even I can't defend Sentimaru. I'm just another cog in the machine. Okay, I'm turning the page. This isn't a battle we want to have either. The more we destroy, the more we lose. Seems like Rob Lucci and his cohorts failed to complete their mission. Yeah, because of the Straw Hats on a battleship. I mean, that looks like Esper on the shore there. But anyway, on a battleship, don't let them figure out that I'm here. Yes, sir. Straw Hat crew barricades itself in with Vegapunk as prisoner, eh? I like this article. That's Morgan's work, sir. What is the truth? And we see Jay Garcia's Saturn just chomping on something. He's got his staff. He's just chilling like a villain.
He
Um,
is a villain.
some might say. But this guy's saying, we have not received the mission complete report from CP0 yet. Given that Centaur is still defending the island, we can be certain that the Labo phase is currently hosting Dr. Vegapunk's Stella and 6 satellites. The forest area from protecting them Okay, so we're just getting a quick diagram, kind of catching people back up to speed with things. And the 10 members of Emperor Strawhat's crew, whom we believe to be allied with him, as well as the agents in the lead force, Rob Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy from CP0. The rank and file Cypherpole agents appear to have been locked up in the Fabrio phase by Centauro and his Pacifista Mark III units. So yeah, just more diagrams and just, giving
I'm
you the
so
layout of what's
confused
going
about
down.
who CP0 is aligned with. I know Stussy's good, but Lucci
Mm.
and Kaku have teamed up time being. I just don't know how this goes.
Well, yeah, they're fighting the
S Sword
the
and no S Hawk and someone else.
the Seraphim. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot that. It's we've been too gone for too long for Omega. That's what it is. Not my fault.
really.
Uh, all right. Frontier Dome's barrier status is at 100%, meaning that nothing can get in it, nothing can get out. It's been an entire day and we still don't know what's going on in there. Where are the research staff and technicians who work on it? They all evacuated the island yesterday. We've got the coordinates of their ships. But what if they know too much? Sink them. Yes, sir. One more thing, St. Saturn. The pirate Jewelry Bonnie the Glutton has been sighted on the island. Kuma's daughter. She is no more benefit to us. Leave her there. She's just a girl. Understood. All right, we're back to the
Wait.
ships.
Oh,
What's
there
up?
are some monsters going on in that panel. Are those more mechs?
That would be my guess, yeah.
Okay.
All right, next page. Kizaru, we're picking up a signal coming from Egghead. Oh, they seem to be placing a call somewhere. Phone's ringing. Sacred Mary Joa. Someone's picking up the phone. It's Mary Joa. Admiral, that thing in your wrist is a black transponder snail. Ah, you can tap the call. The Hall of Power. Hello? This is York. It's you. Hey, this is really messed up. Why are you killing me, too? So this is York calling the girls say, when you only know about the soul's betrayal, because I told you. You two are also Vegapunk, York. If I had any interest in the Void Century, I wouldn't have told you about this. How dare you? She has a point. It's good that you survived. Did CP0 reach the island? What are the Straw Hats doing now? The fact that I'm the only one to contact you after last night should tell you everything. The Seraphim are here. Why is this fleet surrounding the island? Are you going to war with me? York, we have changed our minds. Are you able to create the Mother Flame too? Would they change the translation on that?
No, it's always been Mother Flame.
I thought it was Frame. I remember Frame
No,
for some reason.
it's been Mother Flame every time.
I don't believe that. Anyway, uh, oh, now you play along. Yes, I'm not surprised you want it. I'm glad I sent it to you. So, okay, it was your that. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, it is desired. Desired by who? Anyway, the power plant that creates it is on this island. So promise me you won't hurt me or the lab. Understood. And make me a celestial dragon. It will be done. And you've got a deal. And the first thing I want you to do is come save me. First try at Luffy kills me. And they're like, what? What? Kizaru's like, what does this mean? We just see a double page spread. York continues, come quick and clop them all for me. And that looks like, let's see, Nami's got a little gun thing. She's like, ah, now I see how it all fits together. Luffy's like, I don't, but I'm guessing we'll use her as a shield to escape. And Bonnie's saying, it's like a damn hostage situation. Vegapunk's like, so that's what was going on.
I love
Okay.
that. So, look, you still got Lucci in the background, so there's some
Mm-hmm.
kind of cooperation going on there. Um, but I just love that. So you got Usopp holding the transponder snail up to York, who's been laying on the ground with Zoro's sword at her throat. They were
Mm-hmm.
just listening to the entire call. The entire thing was a setup.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good. I love that off camera, we had this whole murder mystery. Murderer finally revealed to us, but no one else. And we just come back. They've already solved it. They've got her at gunpoint, and they're just now blackmailing her hostage situation to take over. This is great. This is quite the return.
Yeah, no, I kind of like this as a change of pace. Just real quick to cover who's here in this panel. We have Jinbei in the corner just smacking down at something. Zoro's got his sword. Nami and Luffy are there. We also have Sanji holding a plate of something with hearts in his eyes. I'm assuming he's bringing that to Nami, but maybe not. But then Lucci's right next to him. And then we have Bonnie eating something. And we have Chopper and Frankie in the background. And Usopp's holding the transponder snail receiver. And then you have Vegapunk and Brooke right next to him. Yeah. So that's all. We don't see Robin.
We don't see
Or
Robin. We don't have most of the satellites.
mhm.
Stussy and Kaku notably missing.
Which of the satellites are still alive at this point? Or were alive when we left Egghead?
All of them?
No.
I don't think we had any
No.
confirmed deaths.
One of them was shot through the head. At least two of them were crushed, had their heads crushed.
I don't remember. It's been so long. I don't remember that at all.
I'll have to look it up. But anyway, that's the end of the chapter. New chapter. I think all of Shonen jumps on break next week, so we have a break next week. Um, yeah. So yeah, let's talk about it. Talk about it.
Oh man, so just great return to Egghead. Loving the Celestial Dragons really getting some screen time now. Knowing
Hmm.
that there's so much more. I mean, we knew there was so much up with them, but even just getting the names gave us so much to go off of. I'm just so glad they're getting proper representation. Gotta love Kizaru, where even though he's like staring down an Emperor's crew and like treasonous betrayal by Sentamaru, he's just like, would this be so much easier? Can you just turn yourself in and we can not do this? Like, he's just so nonchalant about the whole thing.
Yeah, I do appreciate this chapter works on a couple of different fronts. I think its two purposes are to like kind of catch us back up to speed with what's happened on Egghead since we left, but also to show like shit's getting real bad with the Mother Flame being used on the Lucia. Well, I'm jumping to conclusions there. I assume that's what happened. Um, but just seeing like flashes across the world, that's not something we get very often. I mean, we've gotten it a lot recently, but like I can't think the last time we've been to Windmill Village or even Mount Corvo. So it's
Um,
good to see that.
so
Very
what's this
true.
going on with this hole in the sea? I get that that's where Lelucia was, but
Mm-hmm.
that's obviously going to be tied to Ennie's lobby. So what the hell does that mean? Was there something there before? Is Ennie's lobby what remains?
Wasn't the popular theory that Enies Lobby is where the Kingdom of D was?
Oh, is that the theory? I've heard something along those lines, but then the theory got really convoluted and I walked away from it. They started adding
Mm.
so many bells and whistles to it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I forget who it was, but it's a pretty popular theory. But just going off of how much, Oda likes to play with numbers, they went off of like different volume covers and like, use Sky Island and Jaya as like foreshadowing and stuff. Like, it's in the left eye, or, there's a whole bunch of stuff
Yeah.
that like adds up to it, and that it makes a lot of sense. But there are a lot of theories that are crafted to make things seem like it makes sense. But we still don't necessarily have an explanation for why Annie's lobby is the way that it is. Um, I
But
think this
even
is a
if
big
that,
clue.
was the Kingdom of D, that's not really a massive kingdom. That's just an island.
Mhm.
And, it's an island world, so I don't expect there to be like an entire continent, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm fine if that's the D Kingdom, but I don't know. I felt like it'd be something more or more widespread.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, loved all
Yeah.
the shots around the world though, of like every faction reacting to this earthquake.
Mhm.
So, was the earthquake caused by Lelucia?
Um,
Because it says the earthquake caused the sea level to raise by 1 meter, but with a giant hole, you think it'd go down.
Well, I wonder if the Mother Flame pushed the kingdom down towards like the bottom of the sea, maybe, and just displacement made the water levels rise.
Those numbers are way off. That wouldn't be a worldwide meter, but I think you might be onto something there. It's fiction, so maybe we just made that
Hmm.
part up. I would not
Yeah.
be upset if, at the bottom of Ennie's lobby is the original D Kingdom.
Hmm.
I want to know why water's not like water's falling into it, so why doesn't the hole close?
That's what I'm wondering. Because like we're seeing it, like I'm imagining 6 days after, it
Mm-hmm.
disappeared. Um, so yeah, I guess the hole is just that deep.
And then it also begs the question, who's on the phone with Emu saying I'm here at the remains of Lelucia?
I imagine it would have to be one of like the because it wouldn't be one of the Gorosei. They wouldn't do that. I think we see most of them when they're on the phone with York towards the end of this chapter. Obviously, Jay Garcia's Saturn's not there, but um, well, actually, there's only four of them. There are
Yeah, and
six.
no, it's the five elders, Patrick.
Oh, go, Gorosei. I know him as the Gorosei. I don't know him as the five elders.
Even still.
It's in the word go. I put it together now. Um,
But yeah, so it's not one of them. But who
you
else is
think
going to
it's
have a
a
direct line to Emu?
you think it's a holy knight? You think it's that guy we saw a few chapters ago?
Figureland Garling?
He, someone related to him at least.
I don't know. I mean, he definitely seems important enough to know who Emu is, but
Hmm.
I feel like no one is supposed to know who Emu is.
Right. So I say
Or
that, and
is
I don't even
Emu
think
just
that's
like
high enough.
listening in on the call to, maybe the five
Hmm.
elders?
That would be my second guess. Hard to know for sure. We don't get a whole lot of context for it.
I will say it was great to see Iceberg again and look in the panel with Iceberg.
Oh,
Man, I forget his
Stone.
name, but you can see
Tilestone. Do you
yeah,
see? Oh,
Sandstone.
there's Tilestone and Lulu are right there,
Where's Lulu?
right next to Tilestone. You can see his little cowlick.
Right next like to his right?
Yeah, like it right next to him.
I don't see his cowlick.
It's there, sticking out of his head.
I'll
Are you
take your
looking at
word
the
for
left?
it.
Are you looking at the left corner of the panel?
Yeah,
Okay, he's there. I see him.
I'll take your word for it. I wondered why they'd include Tile Stone but not Lulu.
They're the boys. Um,
But
yeah,
nice to see him again. Always a pleasant trip to see Laboon. Why'd you show us Impel Down, but not like either Doflamingo or Bon Clay?
yeah,
We got all our favorites
but
from the other panels, but you really just gave us some randos.
yeah, like everyone's favorite.
Well, we got Whoop Slap. We got more Slap and Whoop than I thought we could possibly get in a single chapter,
Yeah, that's true. We did get a lot of whoopee.
which is fine because he's Whoop Slap and he's amazing.
Hmm. I'm Man, I almost want to like dig deeper. Oh, the East Blue scene that we saw is in Loketown. I didn't catch that.
Huh.
I don't really think it changes anything, but like it's neat.
Okay, and so should we dig in here at all to Makino both having a baby and referring to Big Brother Luffy? I'm not saying Luffy's got a baby brother, but I mean, why would the kid recognize him? He's been gone for so many years.
That's what threw me off. It's either they show him Luffy and talk to the baby about Luffy all the time, or it's I don't know. Because there's no way that baby, yeah, Luffy hasn't been to the island since that baby's been born, I
But
imagine.
who is this baby?
Well, it's
You think it's Makino and Whoop Slap?
ew, gross. No. No,
Oops,
the
Lab
popular.
still getting it.
Oh, gross. People think it's Shank's kid, right? Isn't that what people seem to be talking about?
I mean, that's what we're getting a lot of people saying. I don't know how much I believe that. I feel like it's a little too obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm coming around on Moop Slap, not even just as a joke. Every panel we see of him, he's really a lot wiser than he's leading on. Like chapter one or chapter zero, I didn't get no chapter one. I didn't get
Chapter one,
much of
yeah.
anything from Roop Slap. But the last time we saw him, he's like swirling his glass of whiskey. He's like, "Is it just luck or is it destiny?" Here when the earthquake's happening, we just kind of get him having a shocked expression on his face, but like looks like he's got more of a grip of what's going on than most people. I'm not saying Whoop Slap is gonna turn out to be the reincarnation of Zebek or anything major like that, but I think this man's got something going on behind the scenes.
Nah,
At
he
least
does.
it. No, I don't know. He's smarter than he's leading on. He's not just the humble, goofy mayor. This man is something, even if it's
No.
just an intelligent observer. He's a little more than he's letting us believe.
I mean, if anything, it's something Shanks might have told him or something else. I don't think he's like privy to any information we don't
Yeah,
necessarily
no, I'm
have
not. He
or
doesn't
from
know
the
what
world
the
page.
One Piece is. He doesn't know what Gear 5 is. I just think he's got a lot more of the dots connected, maybe in terms of like the world government or something,
Oh,
than
no,
at
I
a
got
glance
that.
we would assume. Like something's going on there, and you can't convince me otherwise. This is an
No,
intelligent man.
he's questioning why the tides are so high, and he's just keeping a calm front because he's the mayor. Like that's just what it is, I think.
Or is he keeping a calm front because he's like, oh shit, I know what this is?
No, I doubt it. I doubt it.
No,
Uh,
I'm suspicious of him. Except
so
for Pirate King.
my main question then for this chapter to get away from Whoopi for a second. Um,
Can't escape the whoop.
does this mean are we gonna get like flashbacks to how we got to this point with York? Even if it is just like brief, here's what happened with Luffy, Lucci, Zoro, and Kaku, the Seraphim, or what have
Oh
you.
yeah, no, I forgot that this literally would mean we don't get the conclusions of those fights.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, look at Zoro. He's not like wounded near death, but he's got a good few band-aids. It was a rough and tumble fight.
So does Luffy, and I'm sure or Lucci does too. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not against just skipping past
Man,
that so we can
Usopp's really
move
beaten
forward.
up. Jinbei's
Yeah,
got his
but
scratches.
eh,
Nami, yeah, no, we would better get explanations of at least how we got here.
I'm sure we'll get something. But I'm wondering if this is Oda playing with timelines again and just being like, well,
Ugh.
we're here now, but let's maybe go back a bit, see how we got here. I don't know. Could get messy if they keep this up. Also,
So,
the fact that we've been here like overnight means this is probably the longest the Straw Hats been on an island ever. You think
well,
about it.
no, they spent like 2 days on Alabasta.
Right, but besides that, like every time they go to an island, they're there for like, 30, 40, 50 chapters. And it's like, well, they were there for like a day, few
Really
hours.
is though, honestly. Wano, whole cake. We've been on
Mm-hmm.
islands long term.
Whole cake wasn't, I guess that was longer term.
Yeah, no, there were multiple days going on there. Um, Freaking, I'll give you Dressrosa being a single day,
Yeah,
obnoxiously long day. It didn't even make it to evening. It was goddamn daylight 100% of the time.
it was, everything that happens after, like, they beat up Dofi, like, that, takes place at morning, evening, whatever, but,
There,
main
forgot about all
conflict.
that jazz.
Yeah.
Water 7, we were also there a few days. Your point's really just out the window.
No, Water 7, they were there for, like, a day. Not even.
Like
But
shit
they
went
put
wrong
it
after
in.
a day, but they were staying at the hotel for a few days while they figured everything
Well,
out.
yeah, after everything, yeah.
No,
But
no,
they were
no, no,
at,
no, 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 no.
Penny's
I'm
lobby for
talking
less than a
like
day.
no. when they're still trying to get the money for the Mary before CP9 takes off their masks, they were there a few days.
No, they weren't. No,
Yes,
they
they
weren't.
were. Yes, they were. Go
No,
back,
they were there for
reread
like
it.
a day and a half. I just
Incorrect
rewatched it.
falsehood. That is an
No,
untruth your
no,
mouth has
no.
said.
A day and a half at best, because they go
Anyway,
there, they fight with Usopp, and then the next day is Aqua Laguna, right?
that's inaccurate.
No, that is true.
Anywho,
just reread and rewatched it.
despite like how many days certain arcs took, there really wasn't too much in this chapter to digest. Like they had a lot of big moments for
Mhm.
sure that I'm certain are being set up, but it really is just the hype of we're back on Egghead. I think we're all ready for that hype. But the even more hype thing we have to talk about is this latest episode of the anime, Gear 5, Finally Alive, Hip
Live
and
alive.
Jive. Oh my god.
Scream
So
and shout.
you watched the episode yet?
I did. I
Okay,
did.
when did you watch it?
I watched it almost as soon as it dropped, and I say almost because this episode dropping on Crunchyrolls and other anime sites that may or may not be completely legal might have broke every single one of those respective sites just because of the sheer number of people trying to watch this episode.
Dang.
And so I was refreshing Crunchyroll a while. I think threads were dropping for it on Reddit around like 9:15, 9:20ish. I was refreshing like a solid 10 minutes. Um, but I did watch it as close as I could to when it dropped. And my goodness, I do have thoughts.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it like at 7. Then I get a text yesterday morning. An old friend of mine's coming into town one day only, wants to stay the night, go out for dinner, all that. So I'm like, that's
Mhm.
okay. We'll watch the episode after. We end up staying at the restaurant an hour past closing. And
Oh
then we
my.
get home. It's like 11 at night. And I'm like, I need to watch this episode. So I watched it very late last night. Loved it. Think the
Hmm.
animation's beautiful. The sound effects great. I've been like teasing Mandy of Gear Fifth is coming. It's gonna be Gear Fifth. Look, Gear Fifth is here. What do you think his power is gonna be? She was almost disappointed that he's just got Bugs Bunny powers. I was like, how is that
Yeah.
disappointing? It's the most cartoony thing ever. Luffy is the most cartoony. He's the most free. He's the most ridiculous. He's made of rubber. He always like I can't get over how good of a final power stage this is. He's not just stronger.
Hmm.
It's the culmination of everything he is.
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I loved it.
Yeah. I think talking about the actual episode, like it adapted the chapter that it first showed up in like almost like very well. And I mean that to include to say that the stuff with Hiyori that's kind of in the middle is part of that chapter, and that's probably where one of my problems will come up is that the
Mm-hmm.
pacing felt off.
There, you could definitely
Um,
tell they inserted some filler, so they
oh
didn't
yeah.
just have extra minutes of Luffy bouncing around the screen. Because the chapter
Hmm.
he goes Gear Fifth in the first time, it's not just like we can unleash Gear Fifth now. It's its
Yeah.
debut. He dances around a little, does a couple of punches, but there's
Yeah.
really not
Like.
too much material to go off of. So we got
Mhm.
everybody's reaction to Luffy's alive.
Yep. Yep. Everything that happened in this episode did happen in the chapter that Gear Fifth came
Yeah,
out.
that's
Um,
accurate.
and that's I do think again that's a little bit to this episode's discredit, but also like I'm not too mad about that. I
Nah.
like honestly, the art, the animation, like the way they changed up the style of the art was just like a really nice touch. There was like so many little details. Like I think they changed the lighting on some of the scenes a little bit to make it look like it was an old time cartoon that was on like a film reel or some or like a lighting like a cell or something. I'm not entirely sure how old school animation works, but it almost looked like it was lit like an old 1930s Bugs Bunny color cartoon or something, just with
Yeah.
how bright everything was and the different cartoony like effects, like the stars floating around Kaido's head or something.
I
They
absolutely
went
loved it when
all out on
Luffy
it.
punches down through the ceiling, grabs Kaido,
Hmm.
jerks him back up, and Kaido's eyes stay there for a second and goes yeet.
Yep.
Like just the sound effects to it all. Like you said, the
Hmm.
animation, just the execution was perfect. It was at that moment. We literally had to rewatch for Mandy's sake, and she sees Kaido's eyes stay behind, and she goes, "Is he just a cartoon character now?" I was like, "Well, he's always been a cartoon character."
Well, actually, yeah,
But it's
that
like now
was
that's his
yeah,
power. It's broken beyond belief.
it's Luffy tunes. But that
Aha!
when that happened, I was waiting for the eyes to like pull Java's head as he was pulled up, and we see like three different shots of Luffy like pulling Kaido up, and like we never
Mm-hmm.
got the eye popping out of his head thing. Because I'm looking for it because that was one of my favorite touches in the manga because it happens several times in this fight. But
I'm
then it
sure we'll
actually
get him.
happened.
There's no way they just skip that.
Oh yeah, no, it happened a few times with Kaido, or like a couple of times this episode. But yeah, no, that all that stuff was really great. I think the way they went, you could tell they went all out for this.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they. I am gonna like come out and like I do have problems with what this episode did. I think we saw the same shot of Luffy bouncing around, like the exact same shots of Luffy bouncing around at least two or three times. And I'd be more
Yep.
mad about it if it didn't look great.
Right. No, I
But
let it slide because I was like, you don't need to animate more of him bouncing, but at the same time, did we need to see this three times?
this was like the exact same shot every time. Um,
Um, yeah, what was I about
and
to say? I was about to say a thing. It was a relevant thing. It was a good thing. It was a smart thing. And pretend I said a relevant, good, smart thing.
wow, you fucking idiot! Nah, that was a really good point. Saved it. Uh,
I,
One of my other criticisms, a lot of what I did like about this episode are like classic Toei. We're padding for time here. We're only adapting
mm,
one chapter's worth of material, so we're gonna pad this out a shit ton. Uh, but what was it? Oh, the use of the flashback from just like two episodes ago, where Kaido just knocks Luffy out with Guernica on his back. Like that, we got a flashback last episode, and we saw it the episode before that. And it's like I get we're padding for time here, but what there was some stuff that's like, well, yeah, and then all the filler like reaction shots, like obviously like Sanji, Nami, all those people reacted so Luffy being okay and sensing that he's on the roof and doing shit, but like they definitely added some stuff, which is fine. I
so
didn't hate
I
that
gotta
part.
ask, did you play the drinking game with this?
I didn't know there's a drinking game.
Apparently, like the fan base had made its own drinking game to go along with the episode, and it was
Hmm.
every time Luffy laughs, you take a drink,
Oh Jesus.
and he
Okay.
just like first 2 minutes of the episode actually starting, he laughs like three times, and I immediately realized, oh, that's why they made the game.
Yeah. No.
It
He laughs
wasn't
a lot.
brutal, but it was noticeable.
Yeah. Every time he's on screen, he's laughing, and that's yeah
Right.
quite a bit.
Oh god, it's so good though. It's just
Oh.
he's the epitome of
Um,
joy boy. You know, it is a joy boy.
hmm I had one other criticism. I just want to get the negative out of the way, but I can't remember it.
Not
Um,
like don't get me wrong, you're not wrong in any of that. Like the filler was noticeable, the flashback was kind of redundant. They used the same shot of Luffy like three different times. Like it
mhm.
wasn't a perfect episode, but the scenes they did draw of him going Gear Fifth and doing Gear Fifth stuff, that was just really beautiful and well done. That's the real
Yeah,
heart of the episode. Everything else was just fluff because we can't do too much at once. That'd be ridiculous.
yeah, and oh, I remember what it was now. This is probably a more larger criticism. Like everything else, I can kind of like shrug off because it's Toei doing what they do. But there was a point where Kaido's doing his blast breath, and Luffy pulls up the wall to like reflect it
Yep.
back at him. It was that scene. There might have been like one other scene that like the storyboarding wasn't great, and like I only knew what was happening because I read the manga, but like I could see
Yeah.
how it might be a
No,
little hard to
like
follow.
watching the episode, I was really like, wait, when did that actually happen? I remember reading
Yeah.
that part, but I was like, huh,
hmm
where did that come from?
Yeah. So that was a little disappointing. There were a lot of shots that were like way too quick, and maybe we could have padded it
Mm.
out a little bit more with
Yeah,
that
definitely.
respect.
Like the way he was bouncing around the screen, it was pretty tough to see what was actually happening.
Like there's a moment where Kaido does his blood. It's the moment where Luffy reflects it back at him, but like Luffy reacting to it, he kind of does like a cartoony like reaction where like he bounces back and his eyes are like still like
Hmm.
towards the front of the screen. But like I had to pause to actually get a good look at it. Um, But yeah, also there are a couple instances of CG Kaido, which I saw in a couple episodes leading up to this, so I can't get too mad at that because that's cost saving, but it's noticeable, especially with this animation style. But
Oh yeah, no,
that's all
CG
the negatives I
Kaido
have.
is a thing. He's a decision they made. He
Yeah,
doesn't look awful, but he looks out of place.
it stands out. Yeah. But yeah, that's my only real criticism of this episode. I will say too, before we like, because there are a couple of things I want to bring up with everything else, but the stuff with Komurasaki and the other guy,
Orochi.
or Rochi, yeah, I think they some of like the first half of that scene was a little slow, but like once Komurasaki takes her mask off and she's like, I am, blah blah blah, and she's like giving her big like compassionate speech. Like I thought that was well executed. I thought they did a good job with that.
Hmm.
I think the stuff with Conjuro's flame guy taking his sweet ass time going up to Orochi, I think that was obviously padded out a bit. But like other than that, that scene was actually that hit for me. That worked.
See, it would have hit for me like last week, but the fact
Mm-hmm.
that this was the Gear Fifth reveal chapter, don't get me wrong, I love Komurasaki. I guess Hiyori. It was a great arc. It was a great moment to read. But in this Gear Fifth debut, I was just like, "Where's Gear Fifth? Why aren't we at Gear Fifth? Can we do more
Right.
Gear Fifth?" I get that they
Yep.
followed the book, but in the book, I'm going page by page. I can read that, I can digest it, I can move on. But when it's moving at its own pace and it's not what I was here for today,
Yeah.
it just really kind of felt not out of place, but like we could be somewhere else.
That's totally fair. Yeah, because I think right before that we get the Gorosei saying that's the human
Mm.
fruit model Nika, and it's like, well, we're all hyped up. Let's quick get this big character resolution, which obviously important, but like
Yeah, no,
it's
it
not what
just
we're here
they.
for.
I think if they did her last week or maybe even next week,
Hmm.
uh, I would have cared more because I remember reading that part and she takes off the mask and she's crying the whole time. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great panel.
Uh, but man, her show really got stolen for quite a major character in this arc.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. I think, yeah, I 100% agree. They could have absolutely put it in a different episode. Maybe should have just to give Luffy a little bit more time to shine. But for what we got this episode, I think it worked for what it was going for. I think. Um, I will say too. Now I'm jumping straight onto Luffy and Gear 5 and all that cool stuff. There were a couple of shots that made me go like, "Oh, wowie!" And one of them was with the clouds clearing and the moon just reflecting Luffy's shadow. It
Mm-hmm.
just gets kind of bigger as the camera pans back. That was really cool. Um, but also when we get like the reveal that it's like Gear 5, and he's sitting on the wall and he's just laughing, and we get a quick
Mm-hmm.
flash of like all the other times he's used like Gear 2, 3, and 4, like yeah, like quick cuts, like extremely quick cuts. But it's like all the old episodes and stuff. I was like that's hype. That's really cool.
They knew that this was a big moment for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Uh,
executed it. At least like the direct execution of Gear 5 was very well done.
mm-hmm. Yep. I was rewatching a bit of last week's episode just to kind of like queue up the next episode on my Crunchyroll app. But I didn't even catch when it went to the to be continued sign that his heartbeat, they revealed his heartbeat sound, and I completely missed that last week. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But we just
Well, I
got
mean
more of
that's how
that,
they
like,
did it in the book too, right? Like
hmm
Luffy
oh
was
yeah,
dead, his heartbeat starts, and Zunisha's like, "Oh, Joy Boy, my dude, where you been?"
yeah. I think the difference for me was watching it on my TV, and like seeing him like slowly come back to life, and like his heart's like beating, obviously. But I didn't actually hear the actual sound effect they were using until I had like my AirPods and I was listening on my phone and stuff. But
The drums were going hard last week.
dude, yeah, I think that's also what it was. The music at the end of last week's episode was going hard. It was going hard throughout this entire episode. Oh my goodness. That was incredible. Like the way they use different motifs from We Are and also
Mm-hmm.
Overtaken. And so the new music they used for this episode was just incredible. I'm gonna have to find some of those tracks. It was hype.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to them. I was just honestly, like I said, we watched it so late. I was so tired
Hmm.
that I missed a good chunk of what was going on.
Yeah, Yeah, and I saw some comments that there are a couple of other themes that they didn't use yet, so I don't know. We obviously still have a while to go with Gear
Hmm.
Fifth yet, but I'm hyped. The music's really good so far
I'll
that we've heard.
definitely give that episode a rewatch for sure.
Mm-hmm. Let me think here. I don't know. Oh, we can talk. Do you have anything else on the actual execution of Gear Fifth or?
Well, no, I mean, I think I've pretty much covered my thoughts. I was impressed. Fell
Mhm.
victim to the anime's fault already of the padding for time, unnecessary flashbacks and filler. But
Mhm.
I think they nailed the actual introduction execution.
Yeah. Now, before we give I don't know if we'll do ranks on this episode because it is what it is, but I do also want to mention the shortened opening that they had for this episode. I was a little taken aback by that, and then we get to the end of the episode. We actually have the first ending credits we've had in like 15, 10 years.
Oh my god, that's why it stood out to me. I was like, oh, cool, new ending song. But I didn't even put two and two together that we haven't had one in so long. I somehow missed that
Yeah.
entirely.
I was it took me like a solid 30 seconds to like put it all together. I'm like, this is an actual like credit song. What
Yeah.
we haven't had that since Water 7. What's happening?
No, me, I was like, oh, wow, cool, a new one. Didn't
Hmm.
even remember that it's been a thing that's not been happening.
Yeah, that was crazy, and it looks really good. And I have to go back and
Uh-huh.
rewatch and re-listen to it, but like the song sounded good.
Oh, it's going to be an early bedtime tonight. I was not planning on having such an exciting weekend.
Oh man, but yeah, that was exciting to see that. I'm gonna have to rewatch it a couple of times to get everything out of it, but
But you got any more
yeah.
thoughts on any of the One Piece related matters this week?
Ooh wee. Um, I don't know if I do. I think obviously Gear Fifth's just heating up, so if you think we didn't get enough of it this week, then look forward to the next few weeks at least. Um, yeah, that's all I got. It was a good episode, obviously the obvious trappings from Toei, whatever. Notwithstanding, maybe this could have been directed a little bit better, but still a standout episode for the show,
So
for sure.
we'll be back hopefully next week. We might have a little bit of surprise bonus Opum content going on. But we'll
Oh.
definitely be back the following week to check out chapter 1090. Who knows? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
sometime between now and then, one of the episodes really blows our mind and we'll be back to just goon over Gear Fifth again.
Goo-goo.
But with that, that is going to be it for this week. We've been Obscure Reference. You've been enjoying our content, so now you will leave us a like, comment, subscribe, share, follow, subscribe again, unsubscribe, and then like one more time for good measure. And
Surely that's
then
good for the algorithm.
yeah, no, like that is the algorithm. I narrowed it down to that specific science. So do
Mm-hmm.
those, comment the word follow down, subscribe, and we'll know what it means.
Yep.
But if you are liking the content, we would appreciate feedback. We are making this for you guys as well as ourselves, so we want to make sure it's stuff you enjoy. Just let us know what you're thinking, and we'll catch you guys next time.